Go ahead.
Thank you. Just two questions. One on vaccine again. Is there any thought being given to a federally organized vaccine passport of some kind? Does the President see that maybe as some kind of tool that could be used, or would he lean more on the side of people who have raised objections over privacy and so on?
Well, let me be very clear on this. I know there's been lots of questions. The government is not now, nor will we be supporting a system that requires Americans to carry a credential. There will be no federal vaccinations database and no federal mandate requiring everyone to obtain a single vaccination credential. As these tools are being considered by the private and nonprofit sectors, our interest is very simple from the federal government, which is Americans' privacy and rights should be protected, and so that these systems are not used against people unfairly. There is a movement, as you know, in the private sector to identify ways that they can return to events where there are large swaths of people safely in soccer stadiums or theaters, and that's something that that's where the idea originated, and we expect that's where it will be concluded. We will be providing some guidance, which will look like an FAQ, a frequently asked question. I hate acronyms, but that provides important answers to questions that Americans have, in particular around concerns about privacy, security, or discrimination soon. I don't have an exact date for that yet.
Okay, and if I might, another question on Iran. It's pretty clear what the carrot is for Iran. Mm-hmm. That's obvious. But given that the previous administration, just battered them with pretty much everything it had, apart from war, what's left in terms of the stick when you're entering these negotiations? What is left actually apart from war?
What would Iran want out of it? Is that what you're asking?
What's the stick? You're coming with a carrot, right? Which is, we'll bring you back in and so on. You dismantle all this stuff, and we'll eventually give you sanctions relief. That's pretty clear. But they withstood the sanctions under the Trump administration, and they in fact only increased their activity in the nuclear.
Well, if you go back historically just a few years before the Trump administration to the Obama-Biden administration, sanctions were put in place which incentivized, in many ways, getting them to the table to have the discussion about the joint plan of action. So, look, I would say at this point, today's the first day of discussions. As you know, these discussions are happening in Geneva, and they are happening through our European counterparts and partners. We expect them to have difficult portions. We expect this to be a long process, and we continue to believe that a diplomatic path is the right path forward, and there are benefits to all sides. When the Trump administration pulled out of the joint plan of action, what they left us with is a far decreased visibility of Iran's nuclear capability, of inspections at their sites, of an understanding of how close they were to